Christian business owners, have you ever considered operating your business with God's wisdom instead of your own? Operating your business with God's understanding instead of relying on your own understanding? And what I want to tell you is it's not just theory. It is both possible and it is both practical. Possible and practical. But what I found is in my own life and with working with others is that first off, there are some mental barriers that we need to overcome in order to be able to get our business operating in a way that's aligned with God's heart so that your business will be making a lasting impact that will continue on long after your business is gone and long after you are gone. That's what we want to talk about today, so let's get to it. Common issues and stresses and worries and decisions that we have to make as Christians who own a business, not as a business owner who is a Christian. And there is a difference. Just listen to those phrases. I'm a business owner that's a Christian, or I'm a Christian that owns a business. And I think that's the first mental barrier we need to jump over, is that I'm a Christian first and I own a business. And so how I operate my business and the purpose of my business has to come from me being a Christian. Whereas if you say you're a business owner that's a Christian, well then the way I interpret and understand Christianity is through the lens of what is best for my business. You see the difference? That's the first thing. You have to shift from I'm a business owner that's a Christian to I'm a Christian that owns a business, and that's why I call them Christian business owners, or CBOs, Christian business owners. Christian comes first. But as a Christian business owner, here are some of the things we have to do. We are constantly in a position of having to make decisions and going through a decision-making process. We are having to live and juggle and manage and operate with uncertainty. We never have 100%, or at least I have never had in my businesses, 100% certainty on what's going to happen and my decision and how they're going to play out. Another one is meeting payroll. Another one is dealing with employees. Another one is bringing in the employees with the talents that you need. And another one is there's always competition out there. So you're always dealing with competition. None of these are bad. They are just part of operating a business, but they can also bring a lot of stress and worry and anxiety and pressure. So here's my question. Have you ever considered bringing Jesus into each of these areas and any other area that you can think of in your business? And I mean really bringing Jesus in to run the show. Not just saying, oh yeah, I prayed for 5 minutes this morning. I'm talking about how do you bring Jesus in as a Christian who owns a business to actually run the show in your business. And we're going to get to some practical steps here in a moment, but let's just go through a little bit of the issues. First one is the mindset, if you want to call it that. That's the phrase now, right? Mindset. Let's deal with the mindset that we need to be able to do that. And the first one is to realize what we talked about. You're a Christian first and a business owner second. The next one is, do you trust Jesus? I don't mean do you say you trust Jesus. That's not what I'm talking about. I mean, do you trust Jesus? And then if you say, yes, I trust Jesus, I will then ask you the next question. How does that show up in your life? Show me in your life, in the decisions that you're making let's just talk about your business. That's what we're focused on. In the decisions that you're making in your business, show me how your trust in Jesus is showing up. Let's look at what are the services you provide. Let's look at how much you charge. Let's look at where you allocate your resources. Let's look at what are your goals for your business. All of these things. Let's look at the type of people that you hire. Let's look at how you treat your clients and customers. Let's look at how you treat your vendors. Let's look at how you treat people that have a problem with your service or product that you provide. Let's go through this and look at it and say, do you trust Jesus? Because a lot of times we want to say we trust Jesus, but then the way we operate, including living our own personal lives, which does extend into how you operate your business, right, doesn't line up with how Jesus says we should be acting. So my first point is, do you really trust Jesus? And let's push that a little further. If I ask you, who are the smartest people that come to mind, when I say who is the smartest people, or who are the smartest people that have ever lived, who are the people that come to mind for you? Think about it. Who are they? Einstein, Newton, I don't know. Maybe some of the great philosophers, Aristotle, Socrates, whoever you want to come up with. Maybe yours is Elon Musk. I don't know. Who do you come up with? My question for you is Jesus on the list? Is Jesus one of the smartest people to have ever lived? And then I'll push you a little further and say, is Jesus at the top of the list as the smartest person to have ever lived? Not one of the smartest people to have ever lived, but is Jesus the smartest person to have ever lived? And I'm not talking about just dealing with religious things or moral things. I'm talking about in any area, in any topic. Is Jesus the smartest scientist that ever lived? Is Jesus the smartest medical doctor that ever lived? Does Jesus know more about your teeth than anybody that's ever lived? Does Jesus know more about auto repair than anybody that's ever lived? Because remember, Jesus created everything. Now, you go, well, maybe Jesus didn't invent my car. I mean, Jesus didn't create my car. Perhaps, but Jesus created the people that created your car, and Jesus created the people that built the cars, and Jesus gave those people the ability to think and so forth. And so Jesus knows more about those people who created it, who then, to me, would lead to Jesus knows more about that car than anybody else. So this is what I'm getting to. Is Jesus the smartest person that ever lived in any area of life? And if so, is he the smartest person in your business that has ever lived? Does he know more about your business and how it should run than anybody that has ever lived, including you, who, if you're the owner, you probably think, yeah, I do have some idea of how this should be run. But do you trust Jesus as the smartest person that knows more about your business and how to operate it successfully than you do? And then the third question I like to ask people, is Jesus the most powerful being that exists? Can Jesus do whatever Jesus wants to do, whenever Jesus wants to do it, however Jesus wants to do it, to produce the outcome that Jesus wants every time? And if that is so, why are we not trusting him and doing what he says? These are questions and things we have to process through, because I can bring these up and you can start going, yeah, maybe he's right. But until you actually think these through and really work through them yourself, you're still going to be stuck where you are, because you're not going to believe this and you're not going to think it's possible to live like this. I want to read you this out of James. And this is the crux of what we want to talk about in this video. James chapter 1, I'm just going to read it here. James chapter 1, verses 5 through 8. This is from the New Living Translation. It says, if you need wisdom, ask our generous God and he will give it to you. He will not rebuke you for asking, but when you ask him, be sure that your faith is in God alone. Do not waver, for a person with divided loyalty is as unsettled as a wave of the sea that is blown and tossed by the wind. Such people should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. Their loyalty is divided between God and the world, and they are unstable in everything they do. And I think the last two sentences are really what describe us, are they not? When you ask God for wisdom, it says, do not waver, for a person with divided loyalty is as unsettled as a wave of the sea that is blown and tossed by the wind. We have divided loyalties. We want to trust God. We want to trust Jesus, but then we also want to trust ourselves. We want to trust Jesus, but then we also want to trust all these business books and videos and classes and conferences and seminars that we attend on who knows best, on what is the best way to operate my business. And we have these divided loyalties between, should I listen to the guy up here who has a big following, who has a big book deal, who speaks at all the major conferences, who owns a business that is maybe 10 to 20 times more in gross revenue than mine? Should I trust him or can I trust God? Can I trust God's wisdom? The second sentence is, such people should not expect to receive anything from the Lord because their loyalty is divided between God and the world. and they are unstable in everything they do. That's the problem. We're unstable. We don't trust God. We don't trust when God says, ask me and I will give you wisdom. We ask, and then we go about our day stressed over all our decisions. And one thing I've put together that will help you with this is I call it the Northstar Journey. And what it is, it's 5 days, you and I talking together one-on-one between 30 and 60 minutes each day for 5 days. It's just us. There's nobody else involved in the conversation. And it is to help you get a North Star or an overarching, guiding, compelling vision for the next 12 months of your life with yourself, in your own life, and with your business. Cost is $10. Go down in the show notes. It'll tell you how to do it, but you don't give the $10 to me. You donate the $10 to one of the 3 nonprofits I have listed. Take a screenshot of the donation. Send that screenshot to either my phone number or the email address in the show notes. I'll get in contact with you and we'll get this ball rolling. 5 days, well worth your time. We're going to go through a framework that I've put together that will help you create this overarching North Star vision and purpose for the next 12 months of your life. Now, back to our show. So we know we're supposed to ask God for wisdom. We don't doubt when we ask that God gives it to us. We're going to trust that He's given us this wisdom. So what does this look like practically in your life, day to day, as you operate your business as a Christian who owns a business? First thing we do, we just do what James 1:5-8 says. We ask God for wisdom. This is where I find the biggest sticking point with me and with others is I ask God for wisdom, and then I go about my day stressed all day about the decisions I'm making, wonder if I'm making the decision that God wants me to make when I am actually trying to bring Jesus into my business and let Him run the show. Here's the issue or the question or the challenge I want to give you and the encouragement. It's all those wrapped together. Look, James 1-5 is either true or it's not. It's either true or it's not. You ask God for wisdom, He promises to give you wisdom. That's either true or not. So when we ask, why do we then go about our day stressed over all the decisions we're making? If God keeps His promise, and I think He does, He says, if you want wisdom, ask Him for wisdom and He will give it to you. And then don't doubt. Don't doubt that God has given you the wisdom. So how does this play out? You ask God for wisdom in the morning before you start your day at work. And then you go about your day making decisions with confidence that you are making those decisions with the wisdom that God has given you. I think this is the missing step for a lot of us that are Christians who own businesses. We don't go throughout the day believing that God has actually given us the wisdom as we make the decisions. And so we stress and hem-haw and go back and forth and talk ourselves into this decision, out of that decision, this way, that way. And we're stressed because we're divided between our loyalties, between what we think we know, what we understand, our own wisdom, and what we think is God's. Ask God, say, God, I need your wisdom. You promised to give it to me. I'm going to go about my day knowing I'm making decisions based on the fact that you've given me the wisdom to make those decisions. So this is what it looks like for me. I ask God for wisdom for the day today. And then I go about my day making decisions with confidence because I know I'm making the decision with God's wisdom. And here's 2 key things about this. I make the decision because I know it's with the wisdom God has given me, but then I don't really take into consideration the consequences, or I have no expectation for the outcome of those decisions. See, my responsibility is to make the decision with the wisdom God has given me. It's God's responsibility to produce the outcome and the results of those decisions that I'm making. It's not on me. I'm making it with His wisdom. And that to me is how you bring Jesus in to run the show in your business. Ask God for wisdom. Go about your day making those decisions, knowing you have that wisdom and knowing God is responsible for the outcome of those decisions, not you. And that is tough, folks. I'm telling you, that is tough. But the more you do it, the more confidence you gain that God has given you both the wisdom and God knows what He's doing. Now, I want to tell you, There is a guarantee. If you will do this, I guarantee this about your business. Your business will be operating in line with God's heart, and you will be creating through your business, a lasting impact on your employees, on your customer clients, and on your vendors that will last long after you're gone, that will impact people that are not even yet born, and that will actually, the impact will last forever. It is the ultimate lasting impact that your business will have, will be forever, because you are changing lives through the power of Jesus Christ by allowing Him to run your business. That's what I want to tell you. I just think this whole stuff about if you bring God into your business, then your business will be a great financial success and you will be such a business success according to the business world, according to our culture and society and how they judge the success of a business. I just think that's a bunch of baloney. Absolute bunch of baloney. I don't know how financially successful, how business successful your business is supposed to be. And I don't know about mine either. But what I do know is, as a Christian business owner, everything we do should be for the glory of God, right? That's what we're told. Whether we eat or drink, we do it all for the glory of God. So the operation of your business as a Christian who owns a business is one thing: to glorify God, to make His name great and His salvation known amongst all groups of people in the world, so that the disciples will be made amongst all groups of people in the world. That's your purpose as a Christian business owner. That's the purpose for your life as a Christian. And that's the purpose for your business as a Christian business owner. So when you bring God into it by asking for His wisdom, the pressure actually comes off of you for making your business a success. That's up to God, what success looks like for your business. And I know that can be a blow to our egos, because we want our business to be seen as a success based on the business world definition of success. But that is simply not how it works. So here's what I want to ask you to do. For 5 days, 1 week, and then after the 5 days, I want you to repeat that for another 3 times. So basically it would be 1 month of this, but let's do it at 5-day increments and then evaluate. I want you every morning to spend a few minutes with God, doesn't have to be long, asking Him, God, I'm going to read through James 1 verses 5 through 8 if you want, and ask God for wisdom for the day for making decisions. And then go about your day with confidence, making decisions that you're doing them with God's wisdom, not worrying about the consequences or any expectation of the outcome. And yes, you know what that's going to do? That's going to generate a huge knot in your stomach. You may have a dry mouth. It's going to be scary, especially in the beginning, because you've probably never done this before. But over time, as you continue to do this, day after day after day, and then at the end of each week you evaluate how it's going, you're going to get more and more confidence, more and more faith, more and more trust, more and more belief in God and His promises, and that He comes through. Hey, if you found this video thought-provoking, if you found it challenging, how about liking it? How about sharing this video with somebody else that you think it might help? And finally, even consider subscribing and hitting that subscribe button. If you got something specific out of that, how about dropping a note in the comments? Or if you think this is the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard in your life, make that comment also, because every comment I get, it helps me to be able to produce better videos in the future that will help more people, and specifically more Christian business owners, to operate their business in a manner that is aligned with God's heart.